Hello. Selling your house is very different today than it was 10 years ago, or 5 years ago, or even a year ago for that matter. I'd like to show you how some of the most sophisticated home sellers are confidently going into the process, knowing they'll receive top dollar with very little hassle and just a fraction of the potential liability. This is Vinda Milless. I'm broker-owner of West Montana Homes, and I've been a realtor for over 30 years, but our office has changed with this market. I'd like to show you a little bit of what to expect if you decide to work with us. Now, first of all, before I get started, I want to let you know that we are not discount brokers. We are results brokers. In fact, you could interview a dozen different realtors out there and no one will charge any more than we do. However, I'd like to show how that could be to your benefit. You see, we consider ourselves marketers, and specifically target marketers. Yes, we're realtors, we have to be to sell houses, but marketing is what we concentrate on. Massive targeted marketing will put more money in your pocket. So if I can show you how we can do this for you with the least amount of hassle, would that be appealing to you? So what happens when most people list their homes? The realtor puts it on the MLS. It automatically goes to sites like Zillow and Realtor.com and all the other company sites. Actually, they all look pretty much the same. They list the basics. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home with a garage in this price range. They may put it on Facebook or their website or in a home buyer's magazine, and it's viewed by thousands of people looking at dozens of homes. There's no question about that, and that often works. But sellers have been dealing with more sale fails, more price reductions, more last-minute negotiations, just more anxiety in general than ever before. And are the specific buyers seeing it who are actually interested in your house? You're lumped in together with all the other commodity homes that are listed presently, and in some cases lumped in with houses that sold last month or last year. Everyone sees all the same listings on all the same sites based on the same criteria: 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, etc. So how can you stand out? Everyone knows that price is a function of supply and demand. The more demand there is created for your house, the more it's going to sell for. If we can expose your property to the most opportune buyers and create a keen desire for your specific home, you'll receive better results. So we start off with many of the tried and true techniques that the better realtors have used for a long time, such as preparing the home by staging it and taking professional pictures. But we go a step further. Not only do we present your home in the best possible manner, but our goal is to allow a buyer to emotionally and mentally picture themselves living in your home. We want them to experience your home, not just look at a list of features it has to offer. Staging can be used to capture a particular person or group of people who are looking for those specific features you have. When people can visualize themselves in your home, it goes a lot further than a list of features. And pictures really have come a long ways. You know, I've seen pictures actually hurt the sale of a home as much as help it. Today, technology has come so far, it's incredible. For instance, we use Matterports. Now, if you have not seen these, they are unbelievable. A buyer can pan around the room, look up, down, they can go through doorways, they can see if their dresser is going to fit against a particular wall, or they can be at the refrigerator and see how far it is to the range, or see that there's only 2 or 3 steps to the sink. So it's a convenient kitchen for them to work in. They can see themselves relaxing in your great room or researching things in your office. People will study these floor plans and dollhouse views. That's what they're called, dollhouse views. They'll study these over and over and over, spending a great deal of time focusing on what they're interested in your home. We make sure they can do this without being distracted by third-party advertisements trying to sell them about their lending program or their insurance plan. The end result is that they are selling themselves on your house above all those other commodity homes listed. And if they decide your house is not going to work for them, the end result is that they're selling themselves on your house above all those other commodity homes listed. And if they decide your house is not going to work for them, they're not going to bother setting up a showing. So that's just less hassle for you. But this is where the big differences come in. You see, in the traditional approach today, if a buyer finds you on Zillow and clicks for more information, what happens to that inquiry? Well, you see, Zillow and most of these other sites make their money by selling leads to realtors. You and your home is not really of any concern to them. So when someone clicks there, the potential buyer's information goes out to anywhere from 3 to maybe as many as 9 realtors, as well as lenders and maybe investors, depending upon the programs Zillow has been able to sell to different trades. Each realtor is encouraged to call this potential buyer immediately, within 5 minutes from the time the buyer clicks the field. They are bombarded by dozens of calls, emails, texts, automated systems, you name it. The realtors they talk to often often don't know anything about your house, and they don't really care. They would rather sell one of their own listings or push the buyer into a higher price point or sell them the house down the street. All this does is frustrate and confuse the buyer, and it certainly does not sell your house. So what do we do differently? First, we identify the ideal buyer for your property. Then we actually target our advertising to that buyer who would be the best fit for your home. It's going to take someone who has an income of at least X number of dollars. They have a credit score of maybe 680, so they could qualify for the loan. Let's say they're between 30 and 45 or 50 years old and have 4 to 6 people in the house. Maybe just added a new baby, so they have a couple of rooms on the main floor. Maybe they just bought that third car or the truck, so they need a larger garage like yours. Do they need the shop because there's a part-time mechanic in the family? Your bonus room would be a great gym or office for them. Everyone's needs are different, so we work with list brokers. These are the companies that huge national corporations and sophisticated marketers use all the time. You see, they acquire an incredible amount of information about every single one of us. They know everything there is to know. We come up with the needs, the desires, the lifestyles of people who would be looking precisely for what you have to offer, and we target our advertising to those people. Then they see your house in a variety of different ways at different times. If they think they might be interested in it, but they don't follow up right then, they'll see it again, possibly with another feature that really jumps out at them this time. Who would you say the ideal buyer is for your home? We can let them know that we have the home that will fit their needs and their lifestyle, may solve a problem for them. Bottom line is we don't just sell homes, we provide a service to both the buyer and the seller. For instance, our Sapphire plan automatically includes a free home warranty program for while we're marketing your home. I don't know how many times I've had the oven go out or a hot water tank go on the blank a week before closing. Not only does this give you peace of mind, but the buyer knows that there's not going to be a last-minute problem, and they can extend this warranty for up to 3 years if they like. Now, we also work with home inspectors and highly recommend a seller's home inspection. This is the one and only cost you have, but I have seen these be worth their weight in gold. First, a buyer will be easier to work with if they feel you're being upfront and honest. They won't try to give you a lowball figure because something might be wrong that is not apparent right now. They won't be inclined to renegotiate after they have their own home inspection done, if they do one, because it's all out in the open already. And if there is something that is wrong or questionable, you want to know it up front. You certainly don't want to close on your house and have an attorney serve you with a lawsuit 6 months later because the furnace went out and the buyer is saying that they think you knew all about it all along and you should have told them about it. Now they want you to replace the furnace and pay for their extra expenses and reimburse them for all the anxiety that they had to endure. We make all of this and so much more available to potential buyers so they know everything there is to know about your house right in the beginning. That way they can give you an intelligent offer that they feel good about. So do you see how we focus their attention on your house and your house alone and answer most if not all their questions before they ever even talk to a realtor? They're actually developing a personal relationship between themselves and your house, and they can spend as much time as they want without their attention being drawn away to all those other commodity homes or someone trying to sell them some service or product. We're giving them the opportunity to create a demand for your house in their own mind. You have just set yourself apart and are in a category of one, the one they just spent time researching and see themselves and their family living in, seeing their guests visit. This makes the difference between a house and their future lifestyle. In their eyes, your house is special now. It has more value. Consequently, you have better offers, fewer contingencies, and the buyers are often they're just easier to work with because it's been a good experience for them. Now, there's a lot more to it than this. Once we find a buyer for your house, we want you to be able to successfully close on time. So we have developed and put into place a number of systems and procedures to make sure that your transaction goes through without necessary stress and disappointment. But without getting into all of those, you said you were interested in getting the most amount of money out of your house with the least amount of hassle. Based on what we have covered here so far, provided that we can agree on terms and price, would you agree that we are by far the best agency to accomplish that? If so, why don't you contact us today?
WestMontanaHomes.com, a whole new experience.